My absolute favorite books to read for just silly fun are Regency romance, and I have been reading them for decades. So I thought I would share my review of an audiobook I've just recently listened to, The Captain and Miss Winter by Sally Britton. If you're not familiar with this author and you like Regency romance, she usually writes really good quality Regency romance, and I'm happy to say that this one was no exception. Let me just read you my review, which I put up at Amazon, Goodreads, BookBub, all those good places, and I'll put a link to it at Amazon in case it sounds good to you and you want to check it out after this review. All right. So my title is Wonderful Characters, Simmering Suspense, and Sweet Romance. I have read or listened to many of this delightful author's stories, and I'm happy to say that this book did not disappoint either. It's a bit different from your typical Regency romance. For one thing, it does not take place in England, not anywhere in the book. The hero is decidedly fully British, but the heroine is of both British and French ancestry, and the book takes place in an out-of-the-way forest in France. The heroine, her sister, and her grandmother are in self-imposed exile in France because they do not believe that they'd be welcome in England, especially, I don't even have a comma there, especially in high society, because her father, now dead, is considered to be a traitor in England because of his early support of Napoleon. His father actually fled England to France, and he was actually killed by the French. But I'll let you read the details of that if you choose to read this book. The gently bred young ladies have struggled, but have triumphed over their vast change in circumstances, learning new skills and taking good care of themselves with quiet resilience, even though none were brought up to do the tasks they now must do to survive. The hero enters their midst in deep, dark winter. He doesn't let them know for a very long time that he's actually an English lord, newly come into his title and formerly a captain fighting against Napoleon. He has come to this particular forest in France for a special personal mission, a very noble one, though at first it doesn't seem like it would be. And when the weather gets nasty, he seeks refuge with the ladies in their little cottage, as he believes that his search will go much better when the weather warms up. He eventually decides to stay with them long term, helping with the harder odd jobs that the ladies have around their little cottage and environs. The forced proximity allows the hero and heroine to get to know each other, and both like what they see. He questions how long he should keep his true identity hidden, and also wonders how these ladies, clearly gentlewomen, have gotten to this seemingly dire and potentially dangerous situation. A bit of a suspense plot also simmers in the background, adding to the danger, and you don't really get a sense early on how it's going to play out. And there certainly is an element of danger that does happen later in the book, but luckily it doesn't detract from the romance, nor is it overly prolonged, which can sometimes happen in a romantic suspense story. This book is supposed to be inspired by the Grimm fairy tale about Snow White and Rose Red. At the book review site I got it from, it didn't explicitly state, or at least I didn't notice, which fairy tale it was supposed to be taken from. I knew it was fairy tale inspired, but I wanted to see if I could guess from the story itself. Honestly, I didn't really get a sense of that fairy tale, even when I reflected on the story after I finished reading it, and even after I specifically looked to see what it was at the bookseller website. Now, perhaps I'm not as familiar with that story, but I didn't get as much of a fairy tale vibe as I was hoping to get. Again, this doesn't detract from the story, and if authors find inspiration from other places, that's perfectly fine. Better than using AI, as too many authors are doing these days. Yet another wonderful story and an excellent audiobook from this author. As always, after I listen or read to one of her books, I look forward to more. All right, that wraps up my book review of The Captain and Miss Winter by Sally Britton. Thank you so much for checking it out. And if this book interests you after my review, I will have the link to Amazon down below. Enjoy your bookish travels as I will continue to enjoy mine and share some of the good things I see.